Good morning everyone, this is Sajah with you and today we have a new lesson for grade 9 الصف الثالث المتوسط. The subject of our lesson today is comparative and superlative. Now in this lesson we are going to learn first about the comparative adjectives and then after we finish them we're going to learn the superlative adjectives. The use of comparative adjectives. We use comparative adjectives to compare two or more things, people, or place. Now, things, people, places, they are all nouns. Since we use the adjective to describe the nouns or pronouns, so we use the comparative adjectives to compare between the nouns or the pronouns. بما أنه إحنا نستخدم الصفات الadjective حتى نوصف nouns والpronouns. إذا لما نريد نسوي compare أو مقارنة ما بين الناونز أو pronouns رح نستخدم comparative adjectives. Now let's take an example so that you can understand what does I mean. The cat is smaller than the dog. The cat is smaller than the dog. Here I have two nouns, cat, dog. There are two nouns. I compare between them using the comparative adjective smaller. So cat and dog, they are nouns. Smaller is comparative adjective. Now here we use than. We use than after the comparative adjectives to say what we are comparing something with. يعني هنا استخدمنا than بعد comparative adjective اللي هي هنا smaller حتى نقول احنا بدنا شنو بنقارن ما بين اي شيء. يعني احنا قارنا cat than the dog. Okay, the cat is smaller than the dog. أنا بدي أوضح أنا دا أقارن ما بين أي اسمين أو أي مكانين أو أي شخصين. Okay. Now we also use the comparative adjectives to compare one thing, person, place at different times. إذا نستخدم لمقارنة نفس الشخص أو نفس المكان أو نفس الشيء لكن في فترتين زمنيتين مختلفتين. For example, the past and the future, the present and the past, the present and the future. Okay. Jane is more active than last year. Jane is more active than last year. Now here we compare Jane in the past and Jane today. قارنا ما بين Jane بالpresent و Jane بالpast. Okay. So هنا كان المقارنة ما بين شخص واحد لكن بين فترتين زمنيتين مختلفتين. Okay. Here we use than after the comparative adjective to say what time period we comparing something with. هنا استخدمناها أيضا بعد comparative adjective حتى نوضح في أي فترة زمنية أنا دا أقارن بينهم. Now how to form a comparative adjectives. طبعا أكيد إحنا هسه بعد ما تعلمنا استعمال comparative adjectives we have to learn how to form it. Now how to change the adjective to a comparative adjective. يعني لازم نتعلم كيف نحول adjective إلى comparative adjective. Now we had different rules. You have to memorize all of them. أكو عدة قاعدات. You have to memorize them. Okay. Let's start with the first one. The first one is when I have one syllable adjectives. لما الكلمة بيها مقطع صوتي واحد. هنا الكلمة حتكون شنو؟ adjective صفة. يعني لما نصفها بها مقطع صوتي واحد تعرفوا المقطع الصوتي واحد أقصد بها صوت علة واحد. أوكي. أصوات العلة هي A, O, U, I and E. أوكي. لما عندي مقطع صوتي واحد فقط يعني الصوت علة واحد فقط في الادجكتيف we have different rules. عندنا أكثر من قاعدة. The first one we just simply add ER. القاعدة الأولى نحن فقط نقوم بإضافة ER at the end of the adjective. Okay, so that we can change it to a comparative adjective. For example, hard, harder, tall, taller, short, shorter, smart, smarter, small, smaller. Now here, Mr. Jones is taller than me. Mr. Jones is taller than me. Here we compare Mr. Jones is taller than me. لاحظوا إنه me هنا هو pronoun. pronoun أيضا يعتبر بديل الاسم فأيضا نقارن به. Okay. Mr. Jones is taller than me. Now Mr. Jones و me هي الأشياء اللي بدي أقارن بيناتها. taller here comparative adjective. I told you use than to say what we are comparing with. Now sometimes the one syllable adjective ending with e. بعض الأحيان هذه الصفة اللي هي متكونة من one syllable ending in e تنتهي بحرف e. For example طبعا in this case we just simply add r. هاي الحالة فقط نقوم بإضافة r. We have nice, nicer, fine, finer, rare, rarer. Okay, we just add r لأن أصلا الإي موجودة فما يحتاج نضيف e وحيصير double e. لا, only add r at the end of the adjective that ending with e so that we can change it to a comparative adjective. Let's see an example. Gold is rarer than silver. Gold is rarer than silver. هنا rare معناها نادر. Okay, rarer than silver. If I have one syllable adjective ending in consonant, vowel, consonant, يعني كانت الصفة عندي متكونة من مقطع صوتي واحد but it's ending in consonant حرف صحيح, vowel حرف علة, consonant حرف صحيح. يعني نهايتها آخر 3 حروف حيكون consonant, vowel, consonant. In this case we are going to double the consonant and add er. حناخذ الحرف الأخير اللي هو consonant حنسوي double نضاعفه and then we add er. For example, big, bigger, fat, fatter, hot, hotter, thin, thinner. نعم لاحظوا انه big, fat, hot and thin آخر 3 حروف هن consonant, vowel, consonant. Okay, so we double big, we double the G, fat, we double the T, hot, we double the T, and thin, we double the N, and then we add ER. The weather in Spain is hotter than England. The weather in Spain is hotter than England. Here we compare the weather in Spain and the weather in England. We use hotter than. Sometimes I have 2 syllable adjectives. عندي adjective ب 2 syllables مقطعين صوتيين. We use more plus the adjective. هالحالة حنستخدم more بعدها نضيف الصفة to change it to a comparative adjective. For example, careful, more careful. Famous, more famous. Peaceful, more peaceful. Pleasant, more pleasant. Useful, more useful. I lost my keys yesterday. I need to be more careful in the future. I lost my keys yesterday. I need to be more careful in the future. Here we compare something happened in the past and something will not happen in the future, okay, between 2 times. Now, if I have 2 syllable adjective but ending in y, إذا كان أيضا عندي صفة بها مقطعين صوتيين لكن تنتهي بحرف y. In this case, we are going to change the y to I and then add er. حرف الواي سوف تقلب إلى I ثم نقوم بإضافة er. For example, busy, busier. Easy, easier. Funny, funnier. Happy, happier. As you can see, we change the y to I and then we add er. Jane is feeling happier than yesterday. Jane is feeling happier than yesterday. Here we compare Jane feelings today and in the past. قارنا بين مشاعرها اليوم ومشاعرها البارحة. Now, if I have 2 syllable adjective ending in er, le and ow, إذا كان عندي أيضا 2 syllable adjective أيضا صفات بها مقطعين صوتية but it ends with er, le or w. In this case we are going to add er. بهالحالة راح فقط نضيف er. Clever, cleverer. Gentle, gentler. Narrow, narrower. Now here clever end with er, gentle end with le, narrow end with ow. All of them we just add er so that we can change them to comparative adjective. Mark is cleverer than the other student. Mark is cleverer than the other student. Here we compare Mark with the other student. Okay, they are both noun. Mark is a noun, student is a noun, are nouns, and we compare between them using comparative adjective cleverer. if I have more than two syllable adjectives. إذا كان عندي صفة تتكون من أكثر من مقطعين صوتيين يعني 3 4 5 okay. We use more and then we add the adjective. فقط نستخدم more. For example complicate more complicate. لاحظوا هنا إذا حاولنا مثلا نضيف er يصير complicated يصير صعبة. فلذلك لأن اللفظ مالته صعب it's easier to say more complicate. Enjoyable more enjoyable. Interesting more interesting. Beautiful more beautiful. Jane thinks that skiing is more enjoyable than studying. Jane is thinking that skiing is more enjoyable than studying. Now انتبهوا انه هنا skiing و studying they are not verbs. هنا skiing و studying they are nouns, gerund nouns, okay? You know that. Now irregular comparative adjective. اكو بعض adjectives they are irregular يعني ماكو قاعدة لتحويلهم إلى comparative adjective. We just have to memorize them. For example we have good, better, bad, worse, far, further or farther. طبعا هنا استخدام further or farther they have the same meaning لهم نفس المعنى. You're going to choose يعني تختار أي واحد اللي تشوفها مناسبة أكثر. We have old, older or elder. بس هنا older والelder لا استخداماتهم مختلفة راح تتعلمها خلال دراستك بهذه السنوات. Okay. Much more. Mark is a better football player than Ross. Mark is a better football player than Ross. He is tired, he can't run any further. He is tired, he can't run any further. Now let's study the use of the superlative adjectives. Okay, استخدام superlative adjectives. We use superlative adjectives to compare one thing, person or place in a group with all of the other things, people, places in the group. يعني شنو الفكرة؟ فكرة أنا عندي شيء، شخص أو مكان، هذولا هم جزء من مجموعة. الشيء جزء من مجموعة أشياء، شخص جزء من مجموعة أشخاص، مكان جزء من مجموعة أماكن. راح نقارن هذا الشيء أو الشخص أو المكان مع المجموعة اللي هو من ضمنها. يعني هذا الشخص أقارنه مع مجموعته اللي هو من ضمنها، المكان أقارنه مع مجموعة اللي هو من ضمنها. أوكي. Mark is the tallest person in the family. Mark is the tallest person in the family. هنا Mark قارنته هو جزء من العائلة، قارنته مع أفراد عائلته إنه هو the tallest الأطول. أوكي، في أفراد عائلته، يعني قارنته مع المجموعة اللي هو من ضمنها. Here we use the before the superlative adjective because we are referring to a specific person. يعني إحنا لأن نرمز إلى شيء معين من هذا المجموعة فنستخدم the. Ordinal numbers. Ordinal numbers عندنا 1 2 3 4. If I want to change them to ordinal number first, second, third, fourth, إذا كملنا fifth, sixth, seventh, okay, we just add th if you want to continue. Now here we can use the ordinal number in superlative. For example, Mark is the tallest person in the family. هاي جملتنا إنه Mark is the tallest person in the family. هو الأطول في العائلة. بعض الأحيان أريد أعدد من هو الثاني أطول واحد، مثل ما نقول الثالث أطول واحد. حنستخدم first, second and third, fourth. يعني حنستخدم the بعدين the ordinal number اللي هو first, second, third or fourth and then the superlative. بعدها السوبرلاتيف. David is the second tallest person in the family, okay? Or for example, Sarah is the third tallest person in the family, وهكذا. Possessive. We can also use the superlative with the possessive. Okay, we can replace the with the possessive. يعني بعض الأحيان ما راح نستخدم the، حنستخدم possessive. How's that? Let's see. Jane is my best friend. Jane is my best friend. هنا ما استخدمنا the بس نقدر نستخدم possessive. Jane is my best friend. هنا أيضا تعتبر البست هي superlative. Physics is her hardest exam. Physics is her hardest exam. فهنا لما نشوفون possessive ممكن أستخدم بعدها superlative adjective. Physics is Sarah's hardest exam. وأيضا هنا الأس تعتبر possessive as فأيضا نقدر نستخدم بعدها superlative. Physics is Sarah's hardest exam. Okay, so we can replace the when I have a possessive. إذا ممكن أتنازل عن the لما يكون عندي possessive. Okay, now we learn how to form a comparative adjective. Let's learn how to compare superlative adjective, how to make a superlative adjective. طبعا قاعدة comparative adjective والsuperlative adjective they are kind same things. okay, تقريبا نفس الشيء بس احنا ما راح نضيف er هنا راح نضيف est. The same thing if I have one syllable adjective. إذا كان عندي صفة من مقطع صوتي واحد we just add est on the end of the adjective في نهاية الadjective. Hard, hardest. Tall, tallest. Short, shortest. Small, smallest. Mercury is the smallest planet in the solar system. Mercury is the smallest planet in the solar system. Okay, يعني هنا Mercury هو أصغر كوكب في المجموعة الشمسية. One syllable adjective ending in e. إذا كان عندي مقطع صوتي واحد صفة بها مقطع صوتي واحد لكن تنتهي ب e. In this case we're going to add only st. Nice, nicest. Fine, finest. Rare, rarest. Jane is the nicest person in the office. Jane is the nicest person in the office. One syllable adjective ending in consonant, vowel, consonant. أيضا نفس الفكرة اللي كانت بالcomparative. صفة بها مقطع صوتي واحد لكن تنتهي ب consonant, vowel, consonant. We're going to double the last consonant and add est. Big, biggest. Fat, fattest. Hot, hottest. Thin, thinnest. Spain is the hottest country in Europe. Spain is the hottest country in Europe. Two syllable adjectives. إذا كان عندي صفة بها two syllables we use most and then the adjective. حنستخدم most بعدين adjective. For example, careful, most careful. Famous, most famous. Peaceful, most peaceful. Pleasant, most pleasant. Useful, most useful. This is the most peaceful swimming pool that I have ever seen. This is the most peaceful swimming pool that I have ever seen. هنا نقارن السويمينج بول اللي هو حاليا بي مع مجموعة السويمينج بول اللي هو زايرها بحياته. This is the most swimming pool that I have ever seen. Now if I have two syllable adjective ending in y. إذا كان عندي صفة بها مقطعين صوتيين تنتهي بحرف y. We're going to change the I to I and then add est. Busy, busiest. Easy, easiest. Funny, funniest. Happy, happiest. Sunday is the busiest day of the work. Sunday is the busiest day of the work. هنا نقارن Sunday مع the days of the week. Okay. If I have two syllable adjective ending in er, le and w. إذا كان عندي صفة من مقطع صوتي لكن تنتهي ب er, le or ow. In this case we're going to add est. Clever, cleverest. Gentle, gentlest. Narrow, narrowest. Sam is the cleverest boy in the class. If I have more than two syllable adjectives إذا كان عندي أكثر من مقطع صوتيين 3, 4, 5 we use most plus the adjective. Complicate, most complicate. Enjoyable, most enjoyable. Interesting, most interesting. Beautiful, most beautiful. This is the most interesting book that I have ever read. This is the most interesting book that I have ever read. I have irregular comparative adjective. أيضا عندنا صفات تكون irregular. Good, best. Bad, worst. Much, most. He wants to be the best football player in the world. He wants to be the best football player in the world. These adjectives you have to memorize them. Okay, there is no rule for them. Now, in my opinion, she is the worst actress in Hollywood. In my opinion, she's the worst actress in Hollywood. Now let's take some exercise. As usual, I want you to bring paper and pencil, try to solve the exercise with me, and then after you finish, play the video again so that you can see the answers. Correct the adjective. Ali is dash than Adam. This is the book I have ever read. Physics is the subject. The elephant is then the mouse. Mary is my dash friend. Okay, solve them. Okay, we'll come back again. Let's do. Ali is than Adam. We have than, so we're going to use comparative adjective. Taller. Ali is taller than Adam. This is the. We have there, so we're going to use the superlative adjective. This is the saddest book I have ever read. Physics is the. We have there, so we're going to use most, because complicated here is 2 syllables, more than 2 syllables adjectives. So physics is the most complicated subject. The elephant, we have than, so we're going to use comparative adjective. We have here consonant, vowel consonant, so we're going to double the G. The elephant is bigger than the mouse. Mary is my, we have my possessive, so we can use the superlative adjective. Mary is my best friend. That's it for today. Thank you for watching. I hope you learn how to use the comparative and the superlative adjectives. See you next lesson.